Hi, my name is Gene Dougherty, and I will be exploring the level of success that yellow journalism and muckraking had on shaping legislation during the progressive movement. The progressive period fostered profound changes in the fabric of the United States. Between 1890 and 1910, investigative journalists like Ida Tarbell, Lincoln Steffens, and Jacob Riis used the mass distribution of magazines like McClure's, Everybody's, and Cosmopolitan to reach millions of Americans. They helped to spread stories of government corruption and questionable business practices to the masses. Mark Nusel's 1993, Muckraking and the Progressive Movement, The Interaction of Journalism and Society, 1902 to 1911, focuses on the muckraking period to examine the role and function of mass media in society. He offers a three pronged solution to the problems: the role of mass media in the social movement, particularly where the media seems to manifest their own social movement within that movement, the relationship between mass media and social movement and society at large, and what that relationship says about the rise, decline, and demise of the media in the movement. He draws from historian Louis Filler's Progressivism and Muckraking, as well as Christopher Wilson's 1970 book, McClure's Magazine and the Muckrakers. Musel believed that the result of his research shows that using a different theoretical framework in examining the muckrakers and the progressive movement offers an alternative explanation for the events and issues of the day. He asks the question: did the muckrakers push the changes accomplished by the progressive agenda? For Newsel, the progressive movement and the muckrakers went hand in hand, and neither drove the other. They were the result of the time. His conclusion outlines the end of both muckrakers and progressivism. Throughout his study, Newsel addresses how politicians like Teddy Roosevelt used muckrakers as much as he was used by muckrakers. He marks the schism between Teddy Roosevelt and the muckrakers over events in Panama as the downfall of both. Kristen Davis's 2000 Muckraking Exposés and the Shaping of Progressive Era Political Culture argues that muckraking journalism helped to shape a progressive sensibility, and that a close analysis of these texts indicate that this sensibility was more radical than most historians and political theorists suggest. She argues that historians have accepted a progressive sensibility that was forged, in part, by the work of trusted magazine journalists. She examined a variety of sources, including Ida Tarbell's History of Standard Oil, Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, autobiographies by Sinclair and Lincoln Steffens, as well as contemporary historians David Chalmers' The Social and Political Ideas of Muckrakers, and Lewis Gould's The Progressive Era. Her study attempts to argue that because of the success of the progressive movement, more traditional moral resources are often ignored. She states that exposés often drew from traditionally religious genres. For Davis, the historical implications of her study conclude that liberalism was not as powerful as it has been assumed, and that a more careful examination of the language used by muckrakers would lead to a better understanding of progressive changes.